Ladies and gentlemen, formulated by a pioneer in stem cell research, a botanical blend of powerful ingredients in a refreshing drink mix to bring out your best you. Introducing RevitaBLU.
Sourced from the Tibetan Plateau and the crisp waters of Oregon's Upper Klamath Lake, Jeunesse has developed a patent-pending formula enhanced with blue-green algae, sea buckthornberry, aloe vera, and coconut water. This botanical beverage mix is designed to help nourish and support your body. Introducing RevitaBLU. Formulated by a pioneer in stem cell research, refreshing RevitaBLU contains 3 legendary plant-based ingredients. Blue-green algae, also known as AFA, Aphanizomenon floss aquae, is found and extracted from Oregon's pristine Upper Klamath Lake. Blue-green algae is world-renowned as one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Harvested from the Tibetan Plateau, sea buckthornberry is packed with antioxidants and has been used for centuries in Chinese, Mongolian, and Tibetan traditional medicine for longevity and vibrant health. Grown in tropical climates around the globe, aloe vera has been used for almost 6,000 years for its wellness benefits. Taken daily, there is no question RevitaBLU will be the go-to product for your life and lifestyle. RevitaBLU, your best you.
And that was the introductory video about RevitaBLU. Up next is a key highlight of today's session where we are going to find out about the science and research behind RevitaBLU, its benefits and how it can nourish and support your body. To share with you about that, we have stem cell specialist Christian Drapeau, who has a Master's of Science in Neurophysiology and attained global recognition for his work in cutting-edge stem cell research, regenerative medicine and wellness. Interviewing him will be Jeunesse Global Singapore Sapphire Executive Miss Anthea Ng. She has been a media professional in Singapore for more than 20 years. In her bid to diversify her skill set, she found Jeunesse to be a one-stop digital platform and was touched by the Jeunesse Kids charity arm, which inspired her to join the Jeunesse family. Please enjoy their sharing and keep a lookout for the next giveaway.
Thank you, and hello everyone. I believe many of you probably have many questions about the new product right now, but hang in there, okay? Just to add on to what Kelly had said, Christian's research includes the unique study of botanicals on the brain, which led to his specialized expertise in plant-based stem cell research. He's known for the discovery, research, and development of plant extracts that support the body's natural regenerative potential. And so let's bring on the man himself to explain about the entire science behind it before I present all the questions that you may have in an exciting Q&A with Christian.
I would like to talk to you about one of the greatest discoveries of our time, which is adult stem cells. One of the reasons why there's so much interest in the scientific community with regard to the use of adult stem cells is because of the global recognition that adult stem cells have enormous regenerative potential. But these stem cells that have such great potential, they are in your bone marrow, they are in your blood, they are in most of your tissues, and they've been there since the day you are born. So if they have such enormous regenerative potential, then what are they doing in the body? What is the natural role of stem cells in the body? Because when we understand what stem cells are doing in the body, it really brings a completely novel understanding of health and wellness that I believe is called to change the way that we practice medicine. So let's start from the beginning. What is a stem cell? The best way to describe what is a stem cell is to start by describing what is not a stem cell. All the cells of your body are what we call somatic cells. They are the cells of your liver, of your lung, of your brain, of your skin, of your digestive system. All these cells in the body, they are specialized, they do one specific thing, they will never transform, and for the most part, they will never multiply. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, you have stem cells. Stem cells, in their function, they don't do anything. They do absolutely nothing in the body. Their role is in their capacity to transform into another type of cells. And historically or traditionally in science, stem cells transform into blood cells. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, but that's it. So one of the greatest discoveries of our time is the discovery around 2000 that stem cells from the bone marrow not only can become blood cells, but they can also become brain cells, liver cells, heart cells. These were the first one to be observed. And then it continued, and right now we can say virtually any kind of cell types in the body. But early on, the discovery that stem cells could become cells of various tissues is a little bit like looking for centuries, looking at caterpillars and then butterflies, and one day somebody makes the observation that there's this caterpillar that transformed into a butterfly. So you can reach two conclusions. Number one, you can say this was a weird caterpillar, or you can say, gee, butterflies come from caterpillar. Like, it's a little bit more daring as a conclusion, and it needs to be scientifically demonstrated, but it is common sense. If one can do it, then they can all do it. So here's the same thing. If stem cells were found to be able to transform into heart cells, brain cells, and liver cells, then it has to be that they can become other tissues, and it has to be the natural repair system of the body. It has to be done with a function. So we published an article in a journal, Medical Hypotheses, in 2002, in which we suggested just that stem cells constitute the natural repair system of the body. So at that time it was just an idea. Now let's fast forward 17 years later, and here's what we know about stem cells. And now this whole concept, this whole phenomenon in the body has been documented by thousands of scientific studies. So anytime there is an injury in the body or something is not functioning properly, the affected area will release compounds that will go to the bone marrow and trigger the release of stem cells from the bone marrow. So within 3 to 5 days after an injury, the number of stem cells in circulation will increase anywhere between 3 to 10 times. So now, as these stem cells are circulating in the bloodstream, they don't know where to go. They don't know what is the tissue that is calling for assistance. So what is happening is that the second day after the injury or whatever problem in the tissue, the affected tissue releases another compound called stromal-derived factor 1, SDF1. So as stem cells are circulating everywhere in the body, and they circulate in the fine capillaries of the affected tissue, when they come in contact with SDF1, this triggers the migration of stem cells out of the blood into that tissue, and upon contact with cellular debris of that tissue, the stem cells will multiply and then will transform into cells of that tissue, literally repairing that tissue. So just like you have an immune system, you have a repair system. And the various parts of that repair system are, number one, the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, the circulation of stem cells in the bloodstream, their migration into tissue, their proliferation, and then transformation into cells of that tissue. Of all these steps in this whole phenomenon, the one that has been the most studied is the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, and the consequence of which is the number of stem cells in circulation, because we have molecules, those famous molecules released by an injured tissue, we know them. So we can inject them in an animal, in a person, and we can trigger the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, so we end up with more stem cells in circulation. So many studies have investigated the link between health and the number of stem cells in circulation. And here are the three main conclusions. Number one, more stem cells in circulation means that more stem cells are available to participate to the process of tissue repair. So in a simple way, what this means is that if we've got, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, a group of people with a similar problem, similar injury, the people with more stem cells will simply repair and recover faster and better. It's that simple. Let's take one study to exemplify or illustrate what I'm just saying here. Here's a study where scientists counted the number of stem cells in the bloodstream of people who had a heart attack, separated the people that had a heart attack in two groups. One group was people who recovered very well and resumed a productive lifestyle, a productive life. The other group were those who remained in the hospital and did not recover very well or even passed away. If we count the number of stem cells in these two groups, the people who did have a poor outcome had a little bit less than half the number of stem cells compared with the people who recovered better. And many studies have basically documented the same kind of phenomenon. More stem cells is better. Now, once we discover this, then it sort of begs the question, if we could increase the number of stem cells in circulation, could we then enhance the ability of the body to repair? And many studies, again, have been published here. Let me use one of them. This is a study in which scientists triggered heart attack by blocking blood flow to the heart. Then they let the animal recover. They separated the animals in two groups. One group was controlled, to which nothing was done. And the other group, they injected those compounds known to trigger stem cell release. So this group had more stem cells in circulation for 8 to 10 days. So when they looked at the animals 27 days later, what we can see is that in the control group, we can see significant scar tissue in the ventricular wall, no new blood vessels, 17% survival, and fairly serious cardiovascular problems. In the experimental group that just had more stem cells in circulation, we can see almost a complete renewal of the ventricular wall, new blood vessels tapping into the other ventricule, 73% survival, and almost normalized cardiovascular function. So in a world where there's nothing we can do for recovery for a heart attack, here we have a study telling us how much the heart can repair if it has more stem cells. Now that study, as used in these animals, cannot be used in humans for various reasons. So really, the message for this study is very simple. It simply means that if we have more stem cells in circulation, the body has the biology or the mechanism to use these stem cells for tissue repair. And the third, and we have studies like this touching various aspects of human health. So repair in the lung, repair in the brain, the central nervous system, in the pancreas and the liver. So many of these studies have been published. Now the third point, which to me is the most important, and it's the corollary of the first two, which means if we have fewer stem cells, then we are, contrary to healing better or repairing better, the contrary is that we are more exposed to developed problem. Or stated in another way, a decline in the day-to-day ability of the body to repair has been associated to the development of various health problems. So let's spend a little bit of time here on this one. Today in the world, the general understanding of, let's say, disease development, we don't talk about it this way, but if we think about it a little bit, it's obvious. It is all a matter of cellular loss. We lose cells in the pancreas, we have diabetes. We lose cells that make dopamine in the brain, it's Parkinson. Macular degeneration is the loss of cells in the retina. Hypothyroidism is the loss of secretion cells that will secrete T3, T4 in the thyroid gland. Emphysema is the loss of cells in the lung. Think of any degenerative problems, and it's always the loss of a type of cells or a cellular function. And so what happens is that we are born and then we mature. When we reach 20, 25 years of age, we reach optimal health, and then from there it's a slow decline. And as we lose cells, the place where we lose more cells is where the problem will express itself. It's a little bit like saying you're born with a certain amount of money in your bank account, that's your genetics, and we tell you use it, spend it wisely, and that's your lifestyle. But all the research on stem cells is actually telling you that that's not the case. Health is a balance between two phenomena. On one side we have cellular loss, but on the other side we have tissue renewal with stem cells. So as we are young, so it's a little bit, if I take back my banking analogy, it's more like saying during your entire life you've got a regular income of stem cells as long as it matches your spending, your expenses in terms of cellular loss, then you're fine. When you're young, you have a lot of stem cells, so you repair very well. As we age, the red marrow transformed into yellow marrow or fatty marrow, and we have fewer and fewer stem cells. So there's a point where we cross that line, and then cellular loss start to accumulate in the body. And what will make you or anybody develop a problem more than another, it's a whole series of factors. Your genetics, your past injuries, your exposure to environmental toxin, your ability to rest, your diet, your lifestyle, your exposure to and ability to cope with physical stress, emotional stress, your ability to sleep, to rest. All of these factors are pretty, as a whole, unique to any individuals and will determine what is your weakness in your your body or weaknesses in your body. So as you don't have enough stem cells to fully repair, these are the areas where the problem will show up first. So again, taking back our banking analogy, it's like saying you have someone who cannot pay for his car, somebody else cannot pay for his house, somebody else cannot pay for his health bill, and somebody else cannot pay for their college tuition fee. So we've got car problem, house problems, health problems, and education problems. But in reality, we've just got one problem. It's money problems. And it expresses itself, manifests itself in various ways in the life of various people according to various contexts and circumstances. But the bottom line is the same, is the lack of money. Here with health and stem cells, we have the same phenomenon. It's the lack of stem cells, a decline in the number of circulating stem cells that is the cause, the common denominator to the development of various kinds of health problems. So this is a hypothesis that we suggested probably about 10 years ago. There's a way to test it if it's true. We simply have to count the number of stem cells in the bloodstream of many people who have lost their health and compare that with the number of stem cells in healthy individual. And we should see that across the board, the trend statistically is that we've got fewer stem cells in people who have lost their health. Today, a lot of these studies have been done. So let's look at a few of them. Here's a study where stem cells, the number of stem cells was quantified in the bloodstream of individuals at various stages of the development of diabetes. So we have normal glucose tolerance, impaired fasting glucose, impaired glucose tolerance, and diabetes. And we can see that at each group here that is at different stage in the development of this problem have fewer and fewer stem cells. If we look now at kidney problem and we look at the number of stem cells in healthy individuals, and we can see that people with kidney problems have less than a third the number of stem cells found in healthy people. And we can even see that as people advance in the disease, as kidney function decline, these people have fewer and fewer stem cells. A very similar observation has been seen with erectile function. So we have the number of stem cells in healthy people, the number of stem cells in people who complained of poor erectile function. And if we look at the average in the number of stem cells, we can see that people who complained of poor erectile function have on average a little bit less than half the number of stem cells in circulation. Now, if we take all these individuals and we establish the International Index of Erectile Function and we plot this against the number of stem cells in circulation, we can see that there's a straight relationship. More stem cells mean better erectile function. And most, to a large extent, erectile function is about vascular health. So this kind of relationship also holds for many aspects of cardiovascular function. And here's one of these studies looking at the number of stem cells in circulation between healthy people and people with a tendency to have high blood pressure. Here's another one with heart disease. The number of stem cells as people evolve in ischemic heart disease, and when people have fully developed the problem, then they have a little bit less than half the number of stem cells when compared to healthy individual. We have the same relationship here with lung problems, COPD, and the same relationship exists with other kinds of problem. I'm just showing these just to really illustrate where this data is coming from. Where do we reach that conclusion that having fewer stem cells takes that edge, that ability from the body to maintain itself every day, which over time leads to a loss of health. So it comes from all these studies. So the conclusion from all of this is simple. We have stem cells constitute the natural renewal system of the body. Every day of our life, we replace the cells that have been lost. This is not a disease process. This is just a very normal process of aging and cellular aging. By putting more stem cells in circulation, we give back that ability to the body to just maintain itself better every day. So as the reason why I got engaged in this whole field of research is that about 25 years ago, I started to work with an aquatic botanical called Aphanizomenon flos aqua, in brief AFA. So people consuming AFA were reporting a broad variety of health benefits touching pancreatic function, the lung, the heart, the overall cardiovascular system, the brain, the skin, various aspects of human health. And it was difficult to explain how one plant can touch so many different aspects of human health until the first report that stem cells from the bone marrow had the ability of becoming cells of various tissues. From there, we proposed that stem cells constitute the natural repair system of the body, but the idea that we had in the back of our mind is that if stem cells really are the repair system of the body, then what if that plant, its mechanism of action was to support the natural release of stem cells from the bone marrow by putting more stem cells in circulation. As these stem cells migrate in various tissues in various people, then it would lead to many different kinds of benefits in different people, which was the observation. So we went into the lab, we tested this plant, and we discovered that that's exactly what it does. It supports the natural release of stem cells from the bone marrow. So an hour later, we have an increase in 20 to 30% in the number of circulating stem cells. So after discovering the effect of that plant, it was clear to me that it cannot be that there's only one plant having an effect on stem cells, this being a natural function of the body. So we started to ask the question, what other plant has been historically associated with a broad variety of benefits, globally or locally, traveling in remote areas of the world? What plant has been used locally to help various kinds of health problems, touch various aspects of human health? And we found a number of them, but the one that was the most interesting so far was sea buckthorn that grows at high altitude. So in the Himalayas, on the Tibetan plateau, they are full of biochemical compounds. And the story here is very interesting because most of the time the scientific name of a plant refers to its physical characteristic, its visible characteristic. But sometimes, and there are a few examples, plants are named according to their benefits, their health benefits. And here it's the case with sea buckthorn. The name for sea buckthorn is Hippophae, which means horse light. So it means shining horse. And it comes from Alexander the Great as he was traveling in western China during the time of his conquest. And at some point he abandoned a group of horses, wounded in battles, and he led them to die in a field of sea buckthorn. When he came back a few weeks later, he met a herd of healthy, vibrant horses with a shiny coat. And a shiny coat for a horse means a healthy horse. So the berry was named shiny coat or healthy horse, shiny horse. And from there it was incorporated into Tibetan medicine, Mongolian medicine, Chinese medicine, where it has been used and documented for centuries for lung health, respiratory health, cardiovascular health, heart health, pancreatic function, and even for repair of the skin, repair of bones. So when I look at all these different benefits, to me it tells me it's very likely that this plant, this berry, works by supporting the natural role of stem cells in the body. So we went in the lab, we derived an extract from sea buckthorn, we tested it, and we saw indeed that after a few hours of consumption, we have a significant increase in the number of circulating stem cells. We saw the same thing with specific extracts of aloe, with beta-glucan. So by blending all of those, then we can really support the release of stem cells from the bone marrow. And in conclusion, what that means is, again, by putting more stem cells in circulation, all we do is that we give back to the body every day of our life that edge that allows the body to stay healthy. Because when we talk today about medicine, the most important of medicine is preventive medicine. But it's a little bit like if I was asking you, what is the best way to be wealthy? Is it to prevent poverty? Of course not. Nobody will get wealthy by preventing poverty. You don't reach optimal health just by preventing the problem. But the day that you discover that the body has that edge, the body has a health system, it has a system to stay healthy, then tapping into that health system is the best strategy to help the body stay healthy and strong and to age gracefully. So that's what we're talking about, supporting the natural role of stem cells in the body by using plants that were demonstrated to do this. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you, Christian, for that amazing explanation. And many people are just waiting for this to come into Singapore. And it's finally here. And they have sent in many questions because they really want them answered. We have handpicked a few. And are you ready?
I am.
Well, all right. So the very first one goes this way. How is RevitaBLU different from other stem cell related nutritional products in the market today?
Okay, to give you a substantive answer here, let me just give a little bit of background. many ingredients have been shown in the lab in a test tube to have an effect on stem cells to support either their proliferation, their multiplication, or their conversion of cells in various tissues. But what you do in a test tube is very different from what happens into your body. Let me make a very simple and silly analogy. If you put peanut sauce into a test tube with cells, you will kill all of them. But if you eat peanut sauce, it's a great dinner. So what happens in the body is very different from a test tube. So many of these products out there, that's what they use. They use it, I mean, there are not that many products claiming an effect on stem cells, but of these products, many use ingredients that have been shown in a test tube to have an effect on stem cells. What we need to show is ingredients that have an effect on stem cells in the body. The main parameter is how many stem cells you have in circulation. So if we look at these ingredients, then RevitaBLU is the only product that has ingredients that have an effect on the number of stem cells in circulation at a dose that is identical to the dose that has been documented and published in the scientific literature. So in that way, RevitaBLU is the only product that we could say available to consumers that we can genuinely say increases the number of stem cells in circulation and thereby assist the natural repair system of the body.
Oh, wow. So everybody must get their hands on this because this is the only one in the market.
I think so. Everybody needs to go for it.
Exactly. So, wow. Now this next one, what would you say is the best way to share or introduce RevitaBLU so that it is simple and easy to understand? Like if somebody, what is RevitaBLU? How will you explain it?
Yeah, it's a good question because, I mean, the information can be so technical. We can share so much information, and most of the time we lose the people that we're talking to. So if I were to give all this information, let's say in a 2-3 liners, here's what I would say. I would say, have you heard about stem cells? Right now you go on the internet and everywhere people talk about stem cells. It's like the future of medicine. Adult stem cells have enormous regenerative potential. They can transform into cells of almost every single tissue of the body. But did you know that these stem cells are in your body right now? They've been there since the day you were born. And guess what? They are your natural repair system. Anytime there's something that is not working fine in your body, it's the job of stem cells to go and repair. The problem is that as we age, we have fewer and fewer stem cells in circulation. There's a direct link between how many stem cells in circulation and your ability to repair. That's what RevitaBLU does. It simply helps the body put more stem cells in circulation. There's no product like it. Give it a try.
I'm going to memorize this one so that I can explain it to people in a very simple and layman term. Thank you for that. All right. Now, when is the best time to take RevitaBLU? For example, morning and night, or 2 sachets in the night? And can we take more? And when we take more, do we have better results?
Okay. Well, first, yes, it is a product that is, I would not say, I mean, it is dose dependent, so more is better, but I would say more often is better, not necessarily more at once. We need to understand how the product works. Anytime you take a sachet of RevitaBLU, your bone marrow will release stem cells, so these stem cells will go in the body and seek any tissue that needs repair, renewal, maintenance. So it's better to do this many times in the day than just one big dose at one time. So when is the best time to take it in the day? We can get very complex here with thinking about how the body works, and I've gone down that path many times, but I'll tell you the simple answer, the most true answer is do it whenever it suits your lifestyle to make sure that you do take it. If that works for you morning and evening, it's perfect. If you feel that 3 sachets a day is actually better for you, morning, midday, and evening is perfect. Some people get to feel a sense of energy with the product. So if it prevents you from sleeping, then don't take it after, let's say, 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So space the other 2 or 2 other sachets earlier in the day. It's really that simple.
So it's the idea is to space it out during the day.
Space them out.
And,
yes, because
one of the easiest ways is actually to eat it maybe with the meals.
Yes, yes, you can eat it with a meal, and understand that when you release stem cells, they will be in the blood between 6 minutes to 6 hours. The average is 1 to 2 hours. And then if they don't find a tissue where to go, they then home back and return to the bone marrow. So you take a sachet, you send a wave of stem cells, give it 3, 4 to 6 hours, then you take another one. 3, 4 to 6 hours, then you take another one. So if you think about it, that means morning, midday, and early evening, or before bedtime.
So just sidetrack a little bit. A lot of people think that, because after a long night's sleep and then your body is like empty in the sense like it's like in a fasting mode. And then in the morning, a lot of people drink orange juice or maybe coffee or something like that. Is it better to take RevitaBLU?
Well, try it. If RevitaBLU, yes, it's no problem at all. We did all of our studies on an empty stomach. So I would say the best is to take it on an empty stomach. But over the years, I don't think that this observation has emerged as something valid to say, take it on an empty stomach and not with food. I think people have taken it all kinds of ways, and people all report the same kind of benefits. Yeah. But if you can, all of our studies were done on an empty stomach.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for that. Many people are curious if RevitaBLU can help with the diseases or illnesses. How are you going to explain that for them?
Okay. Well, we live with dietary supplements. We live in a world where we cannot really make those kinds of health claims with diseases. But let me give you an answer it's a good one to memorize, because it is the answer that I give. Even if I'm asked in a lecture that specific question about one specific disease, I always give that answer. Basically, we cannot tell you if RevitaBLU would help for a disease for two reasons. One, we can't legally. Second, we have not done the studies between RevitaBLU and any one of these diseases. What we can tell, though, is that in the scientific literature, this has been demonstrated beyond the shadow of a doubt. Stem cells can become cells of the heart, of the lung, of the liver, of the pancreas, of the kidney, of your bones, of your skin, of your brain, of everything in the body. Not only they can, but that's what they do. This is what they have done since the day you are born. So if you put more in circulation, you give your body the potential to be able to go and repair these tissues. The only way to know if your stem cells will do that is to just give it a try and see what the product can do for you. And that's really the only true answer we can provide.
Awesome. Another one to memorize. Another homework today. Thank you for that. Okay, I've come to my last question. Does RevitaBLU delay and protect against the adverse effects of biological aging?
Okay, let me twist this question just a little bit, okay, to answer it. And what I mean by twisting it, I'm not going to like sidestep the question, but I'll go to the heart of it.
Sure.
Today, your question means to prevent the problem. So we talk about preventive medicine, preventive approach, but it's a little bit like saying the best way to be wealthy is to prevent poverty. No, it's not true. If your aim is to prevent poverty, you'll just not be poor. You will never reach optimal health. We have now discovered that we can go far beyond preventive anything. We can go health maintenance, health support, health optimization, because we have discovered what is the body's system of health. It's your stem cells. And what has been documented, I would say, over the past 10 years, the scientific literature, to me, it's one of the greatest discoveries, but it's a story that still has not been fully told, is that you age directly proportionally to how many stem cells you have in your body. If you count the number of stem cells in the bloodstream of people who have developed age-related problems of the heart, of the kidney, of the pancreas, of the lung, of the skin, of the arteries, the whole cardiovascular system, the brain, all these people have statistically half the number of stem cells compared to healthy counterpart of the same age. There's a direct relationship between the number of stem cells in circulation and aging, for a very simple reason. Stem cells, every day of your life, their role is to replace the cells that are being lost. If you have enough stem cells in your blood, you stay healthy. So yes, there's a direct link between how many stem cells you have in circulation and the ability of your body not to prevent the problem, but to stay healthy as you age. So you want to age healthy? Just take RevitaBLU and do things that will put more stem cells in circulation.
Exactly. So over here, everybody will be healthy, aging healthily, gracefully, and elegantly, I would say.
There you go. So we can one day meet in Singapore and all celebrate our 120th anniversary birthday.
Awesome. All of us can't wait for you to be here. Can't wait for the COVID-19 situation to be over and everybody can start traveling again and not just do this knuckle hug, or can really do a hug like a Janess family again. Thank you, Christian, for your insights today for this quick fire Q&A. Learned a lot, and I'm really going to memorize what you said. Thank you so much for your
Thank you so
time.
much. It was my pleasure. Thank you.